First of all, before we go into some of their common belief systems and practices, they are primarily divided into three categories, depending on the level of deviance. Depending on the level of deviance. The school of thought among the Sufis, the schools of thought, the first one is known as the Illuminist school of philosophy. Illuminist because they say that, the soul illuminates with light. These people don't focus as much on asceticism as much as they are involved with philosophy. Their whole thing is about philosophy. And basically they say that you must exercise your soul. You must actually go through spiritual exercises, training the soul and punishing the body in order to attain purity of the soul. So one of them, if he found that he was becoming too arrogant, he will go to the public hammam, public showers, which existed back then, and he would steal someone's towel on purpose. Then he would run out, allow the people to catch him and beat him up. And he's saying that by doing so, I am actually humbling myself. In case he thought that he was a little too special, then he puts himself in a predicament where he is humiliated and punished in order to kind of subdue himself and remember that he is nothing but a worthless creature. Is this something the Prophet ﷺ would approve? Is this something that we are allowed to do? Put ourselves in this predicament? No. But this is the Illuminist Sufis, and this is their school of philosophy. These are actually the most moderate among them. These are okay. If you can, not okay as in okay compared to the rest. The rest is crazy. Listen to this. The second ideology is that of hulul. Hulul means that Allah dwells in His creation. Does that remind you of a religion? Who does it remind you of? Christians and Hindus. Allah dwells and is incarnate in human beings. The person who propagated this was known as al-Hallaj. The Abbasis, the Abbasid government back then decided that he was a heretic, and they crucified him in the year 309 because this was an utter statement of disbelief. He used to say, look what he used to say. He said, "Glory to him who manifested his human nature." Glory to him, a'udhu billah, who manifested his human nature, hiding the piercing brightness of his divinity, till his creation saw him openly in the form of one eating and drinking. So basically when you're looking at a man, you're looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to him. According to him. He said about him and Allah, we are two spirits who dwell in a single body. And some of them would say, at the time of the spiritual ecstasy, known as shatahat, when they go a little off track, he will say, Subhani. Not Subhanallah. Subhani, ma a'zama shani. How great is my status and affair. Another one of them would say, there's nothing in this tawb but Allah. And they say that this is at the time of spiritual ecstasy. Yani they are in such contact with Allah that they do these things, unconsciously. And they're not supposed to be held accountable for them. Crazy stuff. Al-Hallaj said that Fir'aun was a believer. Fir'aun was a what? A what? A believer. And he condemned some who said that he's not. He refuted Harun, the brother of Musa, for criticizing the other people for worshiping the calf, the Bani Israel. Stuff that you think, no one would ever say, it is being said. The third ideology is that of wahdatul-wujood. And wahdatul-wujood is even worse than the previous one. The previous one is that Allah will manifest in some of His creation. He's incarnate in some human beings. This one says, everything you see is one existence, and that existence is Allah. And if you affirmed any other existence, you're a mushrik. The concept of Tawheed that all of us now, everything in this universe all of this is Allah. And if you claim that there was something else, then you become a mushrik. They went to say, this guy, Ibn Arabi, another one of the most famous Sufis, he said the slave is the Lord and the Lord is the slave. The slave is the Lord and the Lord is the slave. He said those who worship the calf worship nothing except Allah. The Bani Israel. And now the Sufis say, but now listen, you meet any Sufi and you tell him Ibn Arabi, and as if you're mentioning to him the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a man who's honored and venerated by Sufis unanimously. They say about him, he is al-arifu billah, the one who truly knows Allah. They call him al-qutub al-akbar, the great pillar, the great sphere. He is known al-miskul adfar, the sweetest smelling musk. The sweetest smelling musk. He's known as al-kibritul ahmar, the reddest brimstone. Despite of his statements, these calamitous statements about Allah being everything and everything being Allah, and just it is only fair to mention. Now I know this is sensitive and some may not like it, but this is an amana which I have to convey from my personal experiences. Many of the things that I mentioned, unfortunately, are prevalent among Jama'ah at-Tableegh. Jama'ah at-Tableegh. Now, they do a lot of da'wah. May Allah reward them with goodness and pardon them for the shortcomings. At the end of the day, they are Muslim brothers who we wish goodness for. This is the position which we hold. But at the same time, some of these belief systems are found in Fada'il A'mal and Fada'il Sadaqat and Tableegh Nisab and so on and so forth. I have read them with my own eyes. I have encountered people who believe that. And we had a confrontation about the idea that Allah is everywhere. And I was almost beat up in a masjid, in a house of Allah. A masjid. I was called all kinds of names, degraded as if I was not praying with them in the line a few moments ago. Now I'm not saying everyone is like that, but I'm saying that whoever joins Jama'ah at-Tableegh has been involved in them, be careful, because among them or many of them have these Sufi tendencies, and you may be contaminated or affected with this sooner or later. This is why the ulama say it is not allowed to go on khuruj with them. And Allah is my witness. I have heard all kinds of lies, fabricated narrations, innovated practices that have nothing to do with the sunnah. Many of them are shirky based among our brothers. It's a very sensitive subject matter. So yes, they're doing a lot of da'wah, but we have been taught in the Quran, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرًا أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is my path. I call to Allah upon knowledge, I and those who follow me. And glory be to Allah. Perfect is Allah above any imperfection. I am not among those who ascribe partners to Allah. You have to give da'wah upon knowledge, or you don't give da'wah. Not everyone can give a bayan, and not everyone can address the people, specifically when we don't have the foundation to do so. And this is what happens. One person hears from another a fabricated narration, then he gives it in the bayan the next day. We are lying against the Prophet ﷺ. We are teaching people things that are not from the sunnah. So I ask all the brothers who are involved in Jama'ah at-Tableegh, continue your da'wah, may Allah reward you with goodness. Continue calling people to salah, it's important. But prioritize and put tawheed first. And for you to teach tawheed, you need to learn tawheed. Learn tawheed, teach tawheed, invite people to the salah, and stick to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Muhammad Idris al-Deobandi is the founder of Jama'at at-Tableegh. He was a hardcore Sufi who used to wait at the grave sites and wait for inspiration from the dead people. And this is information that has been documented and is found in books. It is not from my own statement. So the matter is sensitive. I'm only mentioning this because it's an amana. We have to convey the truth. We're not trying to